Right, this is Sam, and Sam is a 3-year-old golden eagle, so he's still immature, and he'll not mature until he's about 4 or 5-year-old. Once these white tips under his tail's gone, and that's him, a mature bird. At the minute, a lot of people will see Sam sat in his aviary, and what normally gets asked is, why is he not out flying? Birds of prey are the predators. If you look at every single predator, what they'll do is save energy. A predator loves nothing else but to hunt, use all its energy, and then to sit and just relax. Don't fly. Just sit in a tree, sit in a branch, or sit in a perch, and just save that energy for the next thing you need to hunt. The best way I can describe a predator's mentality is, we've all got legs, but we don't jog on the spot for the fun of it, or not everybody does. And we're not jogging on the spot 24 hours. We save our energy. That's what our body's telling us to do. It's not a subconscious thing, or it's the bird's instinct to just want to sit and save energy. Sam at the minute is going through the moult. During the spring and the summer months, they drop all of last year's fellas out and grow new ones in. So we take that time to let them relax and fatten them up, give them a little bit of time off, and we put loads and loads of protein into them, and that protein helps to grow some new strong fellas. He needs his fellas for flying, and he needs them nice and healthy and nice and strong and not snapped, because a bird with snapped feathers can't perform as well as they should do when they are hunting or when they're flying. It's a bit like us trying to run a 100-metre sprint in flip-flops. We're going to struggle with that. So we like our birds to be fella perfect and be in full healthy fella condition. Sam is coming at the end of his moult. He's about halfway through. And what we're doing now with Sam, you might see we're walking around the gardens with him, and it's called the manning period. I'll take Sam out, we'll get him around people and walk around crowds with him, and that's getting him used to being back around people. So when it does come to flying season, there's nothing much is going to spook him. When he does fly, because Sam's he's an apex predator, that means he's top of the food chain. He's very, very big and he's very, very powerful. So we don't fly him around here or the garden centre. What we'll do is we'll take him up into Northumberland, into the Scottish borders as well. And we'll fly him in massive amounts of area where it's not very likely that accidents will happen. It's all on private land, and this year we've been lucky enough to get 1,000 acres of land to fly Sam up in the over in the Lake District, so we will be taking him there throughout the year. We normally keep the flying days with Sam to around about 2 days a week, mainly always a Sunday, and I'll have the day off and we'll just go out to get and fly Sam. I try not to fly any other birds on them days, because Sam, with him being so heavy, it does take it out of you a little bit. So once we hit around about September, October time, that's when Sam should be finished his moult. We'll start working on his fitness, doing bits of training flights in the gardens, but he'll be on a crayon, sort of training line, so he can't go very far. And we'll build his fitness up and get him up into the open land, and get him flying, get him catching some thermals and getting up nice and high. So for the meantime, Sam's out just doing his little bit of manning and sitting in his big aviary watching the cows in the field. Right, so a few little facts about Sam. I've been with Sam since he was about 10 days old. I picked him up when he was, I'm not saying tiny, he was still bigger than some of my birds, but at 10 days old. And I wanted to imprint Sam. There's 2 different ways you can raise your birds. You can parent rear them, where they're in with the parents for a few months, sometimes up to 4 to 6 months. That's good, you get the same results flying wise, but they're a little bit more flighty, they're a little bit more nervous around people, I find. So with a bird this big and this powerful, I wanted to imprint one. So I picked Sam up at 10 days old, and I was hand feeding him from the day that I picked him up, and spending all of my time with Sam, spending at least an hour a day, 2 hours a day sometimes, just sitting with him, sitting in the garden, would be sunbathing, you'd be around my kids all day. And it didn't take very long for him to grow full size, only about 2 months, and then he was fully grown. So Sam is what you call an imprint bird. It's sort of like, he doesn't see me as a parent, but he does recognise me, and he's a lot more calm when I'm around. It's not a bond. I wouldn't say it was a strong bond. I would say it's more of a working relationship and a bit of a trust there as well. In captivity, you're looking at around about the lifespan can get up to about 60 years. So what tends to happen with eagles, they live that long, and by the time you've gained enough experience to get an eagle, it's normally middle-aged men are getting them. So they have to be written into wills. I don't think many people tell their wives how long they're going to live for when they do actually invest the time and the money into getting into eagle falconry. But Sam will be going into me will and getting passed on to one of my kids, hopefully. So Sam's going to be with me for quite a long time. Sam is a very big, powerful bird. He is what you call an apex predator, which means in this country he hasn't got any natural predators himself, and there's nothing much that isn't on the menu for Sam. He is the top of the food chain. They are powerful enough that in this country they would be just taking hares. His natural quarry would be mountain hares and rabbits. The areas of other countries are where they will train them onto things like deers, foxes, and in certain countries like Mongolia they can take something as big as an Arctic fox, a wolf, sorry. So once they get clocked on, once they'll grab on, usually with their head and these big talons, a male can exert around about 791 pounds per square inch of crushing power. So you don't want to get on the edge, on the wrong side of these. Sam at the minute is sitting at 9 pound. He weighs exactly 9 pound. I need to get him down to around about 7.5 pound to get him flying. So at the minute he is on a strict diet. So it doesn't sound like much, 9 pound, but when you're holding it on your left arm for quite a while, it does. You can feel it. 9 pound is definitely heavy. There are big birds that he has all muscle on them, and his wingspan is around about 6 foot. So you can see that he's pretty big. And when Sam is coming in, when he is flying into the glove, it's very hard not to move your arm out the way and just duck and cover. But he does land pretty gentle on the glove. That's it.